He doesn't know. She's going to that's fine.
So, you know, but that's his choice, you know, what he's going to do. So,
Come on, Gene.
On January 5th, 2016, adequate notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act has been furnished by inclusion thereof in the annual schedule of meetings for 2016, which has been posted on the bulletin board at Borough Hall, filed with the Borough Clerk, faxed to the Our Town, the Record, and the community news newspapers, and distributed all persons, if any, requesting copies of same pursuant to said act. In case of an emergency or fire alarm, you must evacuate the building by using any of the exit doors in the room. They are immediately to my right, and the double doors at the rear of the room. Occupants must exit the building by using the staircase and not the elevator. This meeting is being recorded by both video and audio and may be rebroadcast.
All right, before we begin, I want to mention the passing of 3 individuals, Rob Padavano, Elizabeth Kiley, and Len Rubin. A little later on, I will speak to their contributions to the borough, but in the meantime, I would just ask for a moment of silence. Please, would everyone rise to salute the flag?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Cabrera.
Here.
Council members Padavano. Trevino.
Here.
DeHere is absent. Messer.
Here.
Maroney.
Here.
Lindenau.
Here.
Borough Attorney Ronald Dario.
Here.
Borough Administrator Roberta Stern.
Here.
Borough Clerk Jean Pellegro is here.
Members of the council, I will entertain a motion now to go out of the regular order of business to consider Resolution 8316. Is there a motion? Second? Roll call.
Padavano.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
Messer.
Yes.
Maroney.
Yes.
Lindenau.
Yes. 8316, please.
Resolution 8316. Resolution authorizing the Bloodhound Canine Team and regulations governing same within the Borough of Maywood Police Department in the Borough of Maywood, Bergen County, New Jersey.
Roll call. Is there a motion? So moved. Second?
Second.
Now roll call.
Padavano.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes.
Messer.
Yes.
Maroney.
Yes.
Lindenau.
Yes. All right. We have a new police officer. And I think it's, Can we please have officers hurry up? We have some swearing in.
Oh,
I'm going to go and hide, and then you can find me.
If anybody wants to airbrush my face on this dog, that's fine. I don't mind. All right.
With the ears.
Right, Paul?
Don't you want
All right. Sit. You sit.
Pay attention to the mayor.
You have to repeat after me 4 times. All right. Please repeat after me. On behalf of I, Zoe Nichols, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and to the governments established in the United States and in this state, under the authority of the people, and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of the office of Canine Police Officer of the Borough of Maywood, according to the best of my ability. So help me God.
She agrees. You tell him, Zoe. I'm going to do my best. I love Maywood.
This is the best. So, Officer Nichols, if I can get you to sign this, please. On behalf of
Take
Zoe.
Zoe home. Good talking. Yeah.
On behalf of
He's only little, too. 3, I
All right.
think 4.
Maywood has a new police officer.
Right up there.
Good job, Zoe.
Oh, it's go by your chair. What's going on?
Let's get a group shot.
Yeah, please. One more.
Let Zoe stand up. Let her put her paws on the table.
Maywood really is going to the dog.
Can you move her over?
Adrian, move in the middle. Dog in the middle.
Oh, that's right.
Mike, can you go on the other side? Bounce it off?
Are you okay, Ron?
Whatever. All right, good.
Smile, Zoe. Zoe, smile. Yeah. You love it.
All right, I'll stand.
She's so crying.
This might be of interest to Officer Zoe as well. We are going to remain out of the regular order of business for some proclamations. For police officers.
This is really good.
I'd like to read something that I received from the Chief Pegg, and then I'm going to read something that I received from former Captain Mark Perdone of the ambulance squad. On March 26th, Maywood Police received a frantic call from a female stating that her brother was unconscious and not breathing. Dispatcher Chris Hill immediately started giving pre-arrival medical instructions over the phone while dispatching emergency crews. Sergeant Timothy Moran, Officers Glenn Tuchek, Christopher Nichols, and Brian Rubio arrived and found the party who had just ingested a narcotic drug and was suffering from an overdose. Quickly recognizing this, they administered the counter drug, Narcan, and began life-saving measures. This care showed immediate results with the patient. Maywood Volunteer Ambulance and Hackensack paramedics arrived and patient care was turned over to them. The patient was reported to the Hackensack University Medical Center and has made a full recovery. If it were not for these officers' observations, training, and treatment, there was a strong chance that this outcome would have been different. And that's to say the least. This is from Mark Padone. Dear Mayor Fabray, I wish to publicly recognize and commend the actions of 4 Maywood police officers for outstanding service performed during an ambulance call within the borough. The dispatch call was for a juvenile in cardiac arrest. Rapid response, quick recognition of the emergency situation, performance of rescue breathing, and administration of needed medicine saved the life of a Maywood resident. The life-saving techniques performed by Sergeant Moran and Officers Tuchek, Nichols, and Rubio should be recognized by the council. They made the difference. Respectfully submitted, Mark Padone. I'll tell you, I don't like repeating myself, but in this instance, it's one that I would do all the time. We have the best police department, not only in Bergen County, but I believe the state. And you gentlemen, all of you, and ladies, are what make this town and help protect this town, keep it the way it is, and I thank you very much. We have 4 commendations. They all read the same, so I'm just going to read one. It says, in recognition of their exemplary conduct and outstanding performance as exhibited in the performance of a life-saving emergency situation and for continuing to safeguard the lives and property of citizens in and for the borough of Maywood. And it's dated today. If we could have the 4 officers, well, Sergeant and 3 officers, please come to up front with the Chief.
You took my daddy. Yeah.
I won't.
Oh, how are you? Good.
Okay, I will entertain a motion. I'm not going to read this one. Okay, I'll read this one. We have another proclamation. Whereas there were 545 motor vehicle fatalities in New Jersey in 2013, and whereas a large percentage of the motor vehicle occupants killed in traffic crashes were not wearing a seatbelt, and whereas use of the seatbelt remains the most effective way to avoid death or serious injury in a motor vehicle crash, and whereas the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that 135,000 lives were saved by safety belt usage nationally between 1975 and 2000, and whereas the state of New Jersey will participate in the nationwide click or ticket seatbelt mobilization from May 23rd to June 5th, 2016 in an effort to raise awareness and increase seatbelt usage through a combination of enforcement and education, and whereas the Division of Highway Traffic Safety has set a goal of increasing the seatbelt usage rate in the state from the current level of 91% to 92%, and whereas a further increase in seatbelt usage in New Jersey will save lives on our roadways. Therefore, be it resolved that the Borough of Maywood Mayor and Council declares its support for the click it or ticket seatbelt mobilization both locally and nationally from May 23rd to June 5th, 2016, and pledges to increase awareness of the mobilization and the benefits of seatbelt use. Mayor Adrian J. Fabray, May 10th, 2016. Now I'll entertain a motion to go back into the regular order of business.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Mr. Pliniak. Thank you for waiting, I appreciate it.
Honorable Mayor and Council, we issued an engineer's report dated the 4th for tonight's meeting, the 10th. The first item on the list is the Economic Recovery Program grant. In late April, our office received the signed TWA application from the BCUA. We followed up by submitting the package to the state on April 29th. So the final review as it relates to permitting for that project is underway. TWA permits have a 4-month review time frame, so within 4 months from April 29th, we would anticipate receiving the permit, and then the project could be bid accordingly. The next item on the list is the PSE&G Improvements Project on Central Avenue. Project construction activities are proceeding at Urquhart and Central Avenue. We did receive correspondence, though, which isn't listed within our engineer's report today, that they intend to proceed with paving on Central Avenue in late June of this year. So we're in contact with them. Again, we'll be pushing for the full width roadway paving, but it's anticipated that that work, pending weather conditions, will occur in late June. We'll firm up the schedule so that we can provide it to the governing body as it relates to dates and when that work would occur.
Greg, when do you think you'll get an answer on whether or not they're going to go for it?
I would expect within the next couple of days we'll have information as it relates to it.
I'm sorry.
Yep, no problem. The next item on the list is the Maywood Avenue Streetscape Project. As you're aware, that project's proceeding. The Belgian block curb has been installed. Almost all of the stamp sidewalk has been installed. The paver belts and the amenities, which include the lights and trash receptacles, still need to be installed. The project's on schedule and is proceeding accordingly. The next item on the list relates to Jersey Avenue, the Parkway Improvement Project. There are a couple minor punch list items and then some additional work that we understand that the borough would like to see occur. One of the items relates to the Peerless Firehouse apron. We've received prices, provided that to the borough. We anticipate change ordering that in so that apron area could be addressed within the upcoming month. In addition, there'll be some infrared that will be occurring in the right-of-way or near the intersection of Maywood Avenue and Parkway to address a potential low spot along that area. And then at the same time, we will be addressing some additional sidewalk work within the municipality. The next item on the list relates to the DEP annual stormwater report, which is a mandate throughout the state. Our office, with the aid of the borough administrator and acting DPW superintendent, prepared the report and submitted it April 26th to satisfy that mandate. The final item on the list is the various ADA ramp curb improvement projects, which is a Bergen County Community Development Block Grant that the borough had received. We understand that there's bonding that's moving forward with respect to that project, and we'll be bidding it shortly as it relates to the ordinance being adopted. That would conclude my report. I'd be glad to address any questions or comments that the governing body had, though.
Are there any questions for the engineer?
Greg, wasn't anything in the circles?
Sure.
So the colors wearing off. Is it because people are just grinding over them, or?
Let me take a look. The color shouldn't wear off as it relates to it, but let me take a second look. And if it is wearing off, we have maintenance bonding that can address it. So I'd be glad to address it.
Yeah, please take a look.
Yep.
Good catch. Anyone else? All right, Greg, I have the answers. I'm sorry, I have questions from Councilman DeHare that left. I know you answered
Sure.
a bunch of them, so I'm just going to forward him your email.
Okay, that'd be
And
fine.
if there's anything that he wishes to bring to the council at the next meeting.
Yeah, and I'd be glad to address any questions or comments as it relates to that project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to open the meeting to the public. Anyone from the public wishing to be heard? Seeing no one, close the meeting to the public. Okay, public hearing on 21. Responsible Borough Clerk.
The only thing I have is to remind you we'll have a special meeting, next meeting on the 24th at 6:30 for our elected official training. That will be at 6:30.
That's it. Thank you, Jim. Report of the Borough Administrator.
Mayor, I received a letter today from the County of Bergen. They are going to have a countywide auction, so I would like, at the next meeting on the 24th, to prepare the resolution. I'll give the information to the clerk. I just got this late this afternoon, so that we could participate. I've asked this acting superintendent of the DPW to speak to the mechanic. I know we have a number of police cars that might be involved, and there are one or two other pieces down at the pump station, so I think we should participate. There's a 15% fee for they're actually using an outside company to do the auction, so our agreement will be with that company, not with the county. And for part of the 15% fee includes helping us put together our information, but it will also include the advertising, which we won't have to do. So I think it's a good time for us to, though we were successful at the last one, let's do this one with the county and see how well we do. They did very well selling some property just last week, so maybe we'll get lucky with that. Also, we are, at the next meeting, going to renew our agreement with A.R. James, the people that maintain our bus shelters. They have agreed to remove the bus shelter on Maywood and Toma, which has no ridership, and we have been asked by many people to have it removed because it's just kind of a gathering place which doesn't add anything. And we might replace that at another location. They might just hold that as parts, but at least that'll be, they've agreed to do that finally, which we've been asking them to do for a few years. What other thing? I think that's it. The only other thing I did want to mention, we've taken down almost all the trees on our tree list, and I don't want to infringe on Councilman Lindenau's report, but in the new process that our DPW has been using, which is cutting the trees in manageable sections, much smaller than they've done before, we have saved a tremendous amount of money because we no longer have to take that and get rid of it at one of the environmental places that we used to charge us, and we have found that people are picking up that wood, so there's no cost to the borough, and just a very simple change in philosophy of how to do it has saved us a bunch of money.
Outstanding.
That's it, Mayor.
Are there any questions for the Borough Administrator?
There's a tree at 11 Washington next door to me, my next door neighbor. The tree has an issue. It has a huge root, like this size, running along the sidewalk. And it's also lifted up the sidewalk about 4 inches, but it's also heading towards the house, and the actual macadam by your house is all lifting up from the tree. So
I'm happy to take a look at it tomorrow. The next day, we have hundreds of those in Maywood. As it happens, some of the trees that have extensive roots that are above ground roots, and we have many of those. I've gone to see them with George Trapp from the Shade Tree Commission. Those trees never should have been here, but they are. I don't even think we planted them. They were actually here before we started building homes. That's how old they are. Well, that may be a different one, but some of the ones that we've seen where the roots run along, we've removed a bunch of those from Briarcliff. I'll take a look at that if that's in that. We hope to do more sidewalk work in the next bond this year, and that could be one of the ones we take care of, but I'll certainly look at the tree in the meantime.
Yeah, I think that the slabs could be lifted and fixed.
I'm sorry?
I think the slabs could be lifted and fixed underneath.
That's an if bet, so to speak.
I think they'll damage the trees.
No, I think most of the people who do sidewalk work will not guarantee that kind of thing because they know if it breaks, they've got to pour a whole new slab,
right.
And people don't want to know that. They say, well, how'd you break it? We've tried to do that ourselves in some instances, and it's not always successful. So lifting it isn't always the answer. Otherwise, we'd be doing that everywhere, but you more than likely you're going to break it, which means it has to be removed anyhow. So, as I said, I'll take a look at that particular one, but all we could say is that it might be part of the bonding ordinance that's coming up in 2016, where we put in additional money to take care of sidewalks.
Yeah.
And at that time, some trees will have to come down.
Okay.
thank you for bringing it to my attention.
Roberta, did you get any answer with regard to the freeholders? Have they affirmed the grant, open space? Do they have
No.
the recommendations from the open space
Nope.
plan yet?
Has not come back yet.
Okay, all right.
Gene and I both get notified. Neither one of us has gotten that
Okay,
notification.
all right. I'm sure it's forthcoming. All right. Committee reports.
Council.
Oh,
I have no report to give this man.
You sure? I don't want to slow you wrong, you sure?
So let's start with better.
Okay, here we go. Now, committee reports. Councilwoman Padavano.
I just wanted to update everyone on our walking. We are up to 2,295,556 steps in the Board of Health Wellness walking on Wednesdays, and we still have 4 more weeks to go. Maybe we'll make 3 million. On a personal note, my father-in-law did pass away this week, and I'm going to cry now. But on behalf of my husband and my family, I just wanted to thank everyone. You know, the sympathy, the support, the condolences I received. You know, I know Maywood is an amazing town, but it just reminded me how lucky I am that we live here, because it was really, really nice. And I'm sure the mayor bet I was going to cry tonight, and I did. And also, I wanted to wish the mayor a very happy birthday.
Thank you. Councilman Trevino.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have nothing to report tonight.
Okay. Councilman DeHare is absent. Councilman Messer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First off, I'd like to welcome Maywood's new police officers that week. And we're going to see good things comes from that officer and then the officer's handbook. Just really quick, I also want to congratulate the efforts of Sergeant Moran and Officers Kuchek, Nichols, and Rubio. In speaking with several people over the last couple of weeks about that situation and other situations like it, a couple of startling facts come out. First off, 90% of all drug use starts in teenage years for most people who are addicted to the drugs. So there's a lot of efforts that we have made as a community to make parents aware of what kids are doing and how prevalent heroin is everywhere in our country. To think that you are immune or your community is immune, it would be very foolish. It is everywhere. It's a battle that is going on daily. It's a battle that can't be won on the streets, but the police officers and the first aid are fighting this battle every day. There's help. There's the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office that has offered training in Norristown. Hackensack University Medical Center, I understand, just replaced the recent batch of Norristown for the police officers here. We've had seminars at the schools. We have partnerships between the police and the schools to bring people in to make parents aware of this kind of activity. You've heard all the stories of somebody coming in, a parent that has lost a child, a teenager, a college student, to a drug overdose, and whatever the case is. And the one thing here that, again, we need to keep in mind and congratulate these officers, instead of another parent now having to tell a story of how they lost their child to a drug overdose, these officers stop that story from happening. And that's what's the most important thing for this community, for that family, and for us, all of us. So, again, thank you to these officers. Another thing I want to point out is that in the monthly reports that I discussed with the chief, there's not a lot of activity with car seats for minors, for children under the age of 8. And I think that we need to remind the community and remind the citizens of Maywood that every child under the age of 8 needs to have an approved car seat. And if you have an issue, or if you want to make sure that it's installed in your car correctly, that the Maywood Police Department has certified officers to help you do that. I remember when I first moved into town, it was Officer Mike Murphy that helped me put my first car seat in my car for my first child. And I think we need to make sure the public is aware of that. Listen, even if you have any questions or you want to just have it checked out, please call the police desk and make an appointment to come in and have your car seat installed and checked out. I think we need to get that number a little bit higher in terms of inspections and installations. And finally, for my report, I'd like to discuss quickly that humdinger of a meeting that I attended last month at Teterboro Airport on the TANAC, the Teterboro Aircraft Noise Abatement Advisory Committee, as advertised, and with all the media hype. It was a humdinger. The room was packed. A lot of towns from northern Bergen County were there, sending their mayors, representatives to discuss increased flight traffic over their towns. The one gentleman from the FAA, who I give a lot of credit to, he stood up there and he took a lot of shots from all the people in the room, talking about the Runway 19 visual approach, which is really an effort to try to steer some traffic away from Hackensack University Medical Center on a clear day when there's 5 miles visibility, ceiling of 3,300 feet clouds. After everyone went around the room and talked about their displeasure, and some people from Hackensack and the local area supported the idea, the FAA said, yeah, this is an optional thing for pilots, that it's something that they can choose to do. They can stay on the normal approach, which takes them right over our house. And they said up to that point, which was about a month in the time frame, somebody had asked them how many pilots have actually taken the visual approach, taking a little further west away from the hospital, and the FAA said, so, well, we shall see what happens over time. I think that there was a lot of discussion over very little at that point. But any relief for the hospital and for the citizens of Maywood, I would certainly welcome. And that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilman Moroni.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, just one reminder that I have is this coming Saturday from 9 to 12 is a shred day at Community Bank in Bergen County. And that shred tonnage is critical to Maywood, so that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Moroni. Council President Lindenau.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Quick note that the Green Team, the plant day was canceled last Saturday and is rescheduled for this Saturday at 9 a.m. And all groups and individuals that have beds are welcome to come out and join the community and get your garden going. In DPW news, I just want to read a little bit from an email that was received from Keith Timmons, the Vice Principal at Maywood Avenue School. From a school perspective, we really appreciate the hard work that was put in on Thursday at the Big Diamond on Grant Avenue to have the fields playable for the 4 a.m. Hawks games. Please communicate to the guys at the DPW that the MYAA as an organization truly appreciates the efforts and hard work throughout the year. Their efforts allow the MYAA and other great programs in the youth of these great programs to the youth of our town. So he's just sent that to Gary Newman, giving him a quick shout out on how great the ball fields are and continue to be for the baseball season. So I thought that was worth noting. Gary's doing a great job down there. Like Roberta mentioned, just a few different ways of looking at things or thinking of things has put a lot of wood in the mayor's backyard. So he'll be happy this season when he's keeping his house nice and warm. That's all I have tonight. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Mayor, can I just interrupt for a minute because I did forget something
Absolutely.
that everybody should know. That tomorrow is actually the first day for registration for the Maywood pool.
Oh.
And this year, I know, unfortunately, Councilman Moroni was unable to attend the meeting the other day. That's why he didn't say it instead of me reminding us. Also, this is our 50th anniversary of the Maywood pool, so there will be special events that will be advertised during the pool season to celebrate our 50th anniversary. So, welcome to everybody, especially new residents who may not know what a great pool we have. So we're looking forward to a great pool season, and also to make it easier for our residents, we do have 2 Saturdays of registration besides the evening registrations. Unfortunately, just realized today, after many times of looking at the proof, that the second Saturday is, or I'm sorry, the May Saturday is not the right date. It's actually May 21st. May 22nd, which it does say on the brochures that most of you have received, is a Sunday. So May 21st is the Saturday for registration. Thank you.
Did they discuss any kind of a banner or anything?
No, we'll be coming up with things to celebrate, maybe asking for the town to participate, kids to participate in some kind of a contest that will help us celebrate. But we also will be having special events through the season. I don't want to say what type because I don't want to jump the gun. We haven't really concluded anything at this time. But we'll have some celebration events at the pool during the season.
Thank you, Roberta. One thing that did come up, I was at that meeting, the pool committee meeting with Roberta. One thing that did come up was perhaps applying for a grant this year for the next round in October with the Open Space Trust Fund for lights at the pool. Actually everybody in the committee felt that it would bring another team. Is that correct?
Well, it might help us get more revenue for the pool because people will be able to practice in the evenings and not just early morning. Because our pool is very busy with our own campers, with our own members, and we now have 2 instead of 1 swim teams using our pool and obviously paying us for the use of that pool. If we're able to have it lit and open later, we think that we'll be able to encourage another team, swim team, to rent our space. And not only that, certainly there might be residents who are happy about being able to enjoy the pool a little bit later in the day because so many people work until 6:30. By the time they get home, change, get their kids, have a bite to eat or something, pool closes at 8 and they're shut out, so to speak. So I think that hopefully it'll be well thought of by the Open Space Trust Fund Committee so that they will give us the money. We'll be working on getting numbers for that.
Yep. We'll go forward with the grant writer and hope to get that in by October. Speaking of the grant writer, Roberta and I met with the grant writer last week, and we have a bunch of ideas that came up. I'm going to be bringing some of them to the council if they become a reality to go forward with some grant applications. But we're focusing mainly on green initiatives, obviously, and life safety. The things that are big money, where they give money often and frequent, and some of the things that are big ticket items on our end that hopefully we can get some grants for. I just want to follow up a little bit. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. I just want to follow up a little bit on, just briefly, on something that happened today I'm following up on what Mr. Messer was talking about. One thing I want to point out is Narcan, the drug that they administered to save this individual's life. What it does is the drug attacks the brain receptors and it slows down, obviously, and that's when the victim stops breathing. What Narcan does is it goes to the receptors and it gets the opiate out of the receptors. And this is just my lay version, obviously, but it gets the opiate out of the receptors and they start breathing again. But it doesn't cure the addiction. So while these people are saved, they still have that addiction. And very frequently it's happened that when I've been doing some research since this happened, that people die the next day from an overdose. They go right back in because they are still addicted to the heroin. Very briefly, I wanted to read something that I got off the internet. It says, once considered a dirty needle back alley experience far removed from the leafy suburb streets, heroin addiction has very quickly become the #1 healthcare crisis confronting this state, according to a 2014 report released by the Task Force on Heroin and Other Opiate Use by New Jersey's youth and young adults. What happens is these individuals start with prescription pills, whether it's through they get it from their parents' cabinets or they have a legitimate injury, and in 2 weeks, as little as 2 weeks, they become addicted. And the price per pill on the street is ridiculous. So what they do is they just go right to heroin, which is way cheaper. And the heroin in New Jersey, the average state is 15% pure, 25% pure. The heroin in New Jersey is anywhere from 40 to 48% pure. So these kids are getting addicted and they're overdosing. So you just don't realize as a parent how scary this is. And that parent, of that individual that these officers saved their lives, they didn't have to have that moment, that worst nightmare of a parent. They didn't have to have that moment. They get to go with that child and try to get them some help and try to rescue that child. So again, I want to thank our police officers for that. I said the 3 individuals that passed away. I was going to say something about them, and I'd like to just briefly read some obituaries. Elizabeth Kiley, you might not know the name, but that is Councilman Ballerini's mother-in-law. She passed away peacefully at her residence on Saturday, surrounded by her loving family. Elizabeth was a talented artist and accomplished chef with a passion for music and travel. Liz, as she was known, gave generously to the communities and programs that served the special needs of her daughter, Deborah. Liz is survived by her daughter, Deborah Kiley, her daughter, Jennifer Ballerini, son-in-law, Al Ballerini, and grandchildren, Tommy Ballerini and Lauren Ballerini, and her sisters, Nancy Carr and Carol Volsang. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Ballerini family. Ralph Padavano, as Councilman Padavano told you, her father-in-law, and former Mayor Padavano's dad. Ralph Padavano honorably served in the U.S. I don't want to make you cry, so you want to cover
Yeah,
these
that's good. I'm going to have to leave because I'm going to start crying
Ralph
again.
Padavano honorably served in the U.S. Army Reserve and thereafter attended law school at night while raising a family. He graduated from Seton Hall University School of Law and co-founded the law firm B.D. Padavano, LLC, where he spent over 46 years practicing law and was well respected for his professionalism. He was involved with numerous community activities, including serving as a trustee of the Bergen County Bar Association, coaching Little League, volunteering with the Boy Scouts of America, serving as a member of the Rochelle Park Board of Education, which he later represented along with the South Hackensack Board of Education for decades. He was an active parishioner of St. Francis Roman Catholic Church in Hackensack, where he was a Eucharistic minister, lector, and a member of the parish council. He is survived by his beloved wife of almost 56 years, Lorna, and their 3 sons, 10 grandchildren, and 6 sisters. One of the nicest things that I heard said about him was in his eulogy that Greg gave. He said, and this isn't a quote, but this is the gist of it, he said he didn't do what he did for the business of law, but for his love of the practice of law. And if you were there, you saw the lines waiting to get to his wake, and the church was packed for his funeral. When you have that many people missing you and paying respects, that's a life well lived. And lastly, Maywood's very own Len Rubin passed away at the age of 99 on May 5th. Len was born in the Bronx. He lived in Maywood since 1948. He was a 1938 graduate of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill and served in the Army Air Corps during World War II as a photographer and writer. Along with his wife Lil, he was the co-founder of the Maywood weekly newspaper, The Outer Town, where he was also the editor and publisher from 1948 until their retirement in 1992. Len wrote and published 5 books, the last of which he completed at the age of 99. Len spent most of his adult life in various forms of public service. He was a lifelong Rotarian, embodying the Rotary motto, service above self. In his later years, when his mobility was severely limited, he continued to write and publish Maywood's Rotary biweekly publication, The Log. And this past January, he was one of 10 people inducted into Maywood's first annual Hall of Fame, he and his wife. And he was there, and he gave a nice speech, and people were laughing, people were crying, and he really had all his faculties about him at 99. So, on behalf of the Borough of Maywood, I want to thank him for his contributions to this town. And with that, let's go on.
The fire police bylaw.
Oh, I'm sorry. We have the fire police bylaws on the action item list. I would like to, I know I asked you guys to look that over, but I'd like to move that to the next meeting when the commissioner is here so he can speak on that a little better. All right, resignations. William Schaum from the Maywood Volunteer First Aid and Emergency Squad, effective May 10th, 2016. Is there a motion to accept the resignation?
Motion to accept.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Catalano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
All right, we have appointments. We're going to accept them as listed. We have the director of the 2016 full-day summer club program. We have the summer recreation program counselors. We have the summer theater program counselors and the swim pool employees. All employees are subject to the completion of all requirements set forth by the borough.
Number 5.
There we go. We have Michael Rao and Thomas J. Riley as fire inspectors for the Maywood Fire Prevention Bureau, effective May 10, 2016, at a salary in accordance with the current salary ordinance. And number 6, we have Corey Schultz as a youth squad member of the Maywood Volunteer First Aid Squad, effective May 10, 2016. Is there a motion for the appointments?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Just briefly, we have the fire inspector here. I just have a quick question. Michael Rao and Thomas Riley, they are not in addition to, they are basically, we're not adding people, we're just supplementing people.
Exactly, yeah, we have one active member right now, so we need a couple more to catch up with the workload.
And they work hourly, so it's
They
just
work hourly, yes.
something that needs to be done.
Right.
Okay, thank you, Tommy, appreciate
No
it.
problem.
All right, roll call.
Catalano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes, I abstain from section 4, swim pool employees.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
All right, council approval of the following. From the Rotary Society of Our Lady Queen of Peace Church, request to hold an on-premise draw raffle on October 14th, 2016, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Our Lady Queen of Peace Church, 400 Maywood Avenue, Maywood, New Jersey, 07607. And from the Maywood First Aid Squad, permission to attend Memorial Day Parade in Rochelle Park on Monday, May 30th, 2016, at 11 a.m. Is there a motion for the approval?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second?
Roll call.
Catalano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
Okay, resolutions by title.
Resolution 8416, Establish Access for All Committee. Resolution 8516, a resolution authorizing the purchase and installation of equipment for 2 new police vehicles. Resolution 8616, Borough of Maywood 2016 temporary capital budget. Resolution 8716, resolution reestablishing the Green Team Advisory Committee.
Is there a motion for the adoption?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Do we have a second?
I'll be second.
Okay. Roll call.
Catalano?
Yes.
Trevino?
Yes.
Messer?
Yes.
Maroni?
Yes.
Lindanow?
Yes.
And I should have known, I was hoping that Jean was going to read the one that we did earlier, and I was going to stop her and said, we did that one already, but I should have known that Jean was not going to make that
Wake
mistake.
up a little bit earlier than that.
Introduction of ordinances.
Ordinance 1316, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements in, by, and for the Borough of Maywood in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $334,000 to pay the cost thereof, to appropriate a state grant to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bond.
Is there a motion for the introduction?
Motion to approve.
Introduce. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Just briefly, Chuck, can I get you to go over this just really quick for the members of the public, the necessity for this bond?
The borough has been awarded several grants, and once we have the grant award, we have to authorize the vehicle to actually expend the dollars. In this case, they're capital grants, so we are authorizing an ordinance. The amount of the total ordinance is $334,000, but the grants total $184,000, and the remaining funding comes from notes that you're authorizing at $142,500. There's a small down payment for cash, which is always required, $7,500. And the projects are for the streetscapes at Maywood Avenue from Central Avenue to Railroad Tracks, and the installation of the sunshade pavilions at the municipal pool and Coaches Park, and the installation of handicapped access curb ramps at various locations.
Basically, this is by law, we're required to do this.
Anytime you get a grant, it either has to go in the budget or we have to create an ordinance for it.
Okay. And if you guys remember, this is the same thing we did for the circle. This is the most recent one I can remember, but this has been going on forever, so I just had stuff here to explain to the members of the public in case there's any issues. Roll call.
Catalano.
Yes.
Trevino.
Yes?
Mentor.
Yes.
Maroni.
Yes.
Lindanow.
Yes.
Be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood that ordinance 1316 pass on first reading, and that said ordinance will be further considered for final passage at a meeting of the Mayor and Council to be held on June 14th, 2016 at 7:30 p.m. at the Borough Hall, 15 Park Avenue, Maywood, New Jersey, at which time and place all persons interested therein will be given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. The Borough Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advertise the same according to law.
All right, Chuck, thank you for coming here and explaining the law to us. I appreciate it.
No problem, thank you.
If you, unless you want to stick around for new business, you can, Greg, you guys can take off anytime you need.
Sure, thanks. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys. Guys, is there any new business?
So Mayor, I'd like to request that we look at the ordinance that was mailed to us regarding banning the sale of dogs and cats from our municipality. Something we could do.
Did everybody look at that? I guess this is basically, I got it.
It was actually emailed to each,
Right.
from Buddy something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is basically
I'll forward
the
it to you.
situation in Paramus, the one that happened on the Route 17 Paramus situation. And
Yeah, it's just basically that, they're saying that these shops are trying to open, as they get closed down, they're trying to open up in other towns, so before we run into that situation, I'd like to consider banning the sale of animals from the pet shop in town.
Okay,
Yeah.
what we'll do is, we'll have the attorney look into it and also ask the clerk to, Jean, please, look into it, see if we have anything on the books right now. And if there isn't, we'll have the attorney look into it, and if it's something that the council wishes to go ahead with, I have no problem with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else on the new business? Do we have any old business? How about any miscellaneous business? I do not believe we have a closed session tonight, so with that, is there a motion for the meeting to be adjourned?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm sorry. You look like you... Oh, you know what, why don't we wait until the attorney gets back into the room before we...
Well, if anything, we have to do that in a closed session. There is
Yeah, I want to see if there's anything that he has in closed session. I should have asked him, I apologize. But I'm sure he will. At some point he'll remember we're at a meeting and he'll return. Where's Zoe? Zoe.
Track him down. Track him down.
Track him down, Zoe. Joe, could you do me a favor and just tell the attorney to come back in here and that we have a meeting going on?
We might not have this to do something.
Thank you, Joe. Ron, sorry, I didn't mean to have a meeting in the middle of your conversation. I apologize. The reason why I put it back, do we have anything that we need to talk about in close?
I do not.
Okay. Do you want to discuss the recycling contract?
You know, we might as well. Let's bring everybody up to speed.
And I know you were going to do a next meeting, but I figured we'll...
Might as well. Everybody's here, let's do it.
Okay. All right, so we do have a closed session for that. So is there a motion to go into close?
Move.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Be resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Maywood pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, the Mayor and Council meet in closed session to discuss the following subject matters. Contracts.
Be it further resolved that it's precisely determined at this time, discussion conducted in said closed session may be disclosed to the public upon taking final action upon, provided disclosure not violate the attorney-client privilege or constitute undue invasion of privacy. Be it further resolved, Mayor and Council, Borough of Maywood do not envision they will return to open session but reserve the right to do so.